Steelers Nation, how's it going? Welcome to another edition of the Steeler Culture Podcast, where we break down Pittsburgh Steelers football. Today, we will be discussing the entire Steelers offensive line, as that is pretty crucial, as we have had to deal with a core of offensive linemen the past number of years that has not been, let's just say, up to par. This upcoming season, as long as everyone stays fully healthy, now this could have happened last season, but we're going to get it a year later, we're going to have 4 guys on the entire offensive line and rookie contracts. 4. That includes Broderick Jones at left tackle, finally. Zack Frazier at center.
My center.
Mason McCormick at right guard. And Troy Fautanu at right tackle. Broderick coming into year 3. Frazier, McCormick, and Fautanu all coming in to year 2.
Yes.
Unbelievable, man. And I got to say, you might have some doubts. You might be optimistic, however you want to feel. I like a lot of the guys on the offensive line. I like the idea of them. I like the performance that some of the guys have delivered. And I think that the growth of them is there. I think that the potential is there. You may have your doubts regarding maybe a certain player or even coaching, seeing that Pat Meyer is still leading the charge there, being the offensive line coach. And frankly, seeing how he's put certain guys out of position for so many years and that the development of certain individuals hasn't really been there, you could have your doubts or your concerns about Pat Meyer. I'm right there with you. But overall, this entire Steelers offensive line this year is going to be very telling to see the growth, the progression, hopefully some promise, and maybe the idea that this is the future of the Steelers offensive line because, you know, the past number of years, it hasn't really been fun to watch. It has been a very big negative for the Steelers. The run blocking, inconsistent, but has been their best trait. Pass protection, on the other hand, especially at the tackle position, not so great. Not good at all. And obviously, we can't forget Isaac Seumalo at left guard, as he is really the only vet there on the line. He is the only real older guy that can pretty much
he's the one
glue that line together.
He's the one guy on the offensive line that was not drafted by the Steelers, starting wise.
No, he was a free agent signing a couple years ago. He's coming into the last year of that contract. I don't envision him staying here past this season, but he's really the only veteran piece that's going to be able to coach up a lot of these young cats. Let's start with Broderick Jones at left tackle. We've talked about him on and off through several videos and streams in the offseason. We all know he needs to have a bigger season this year. He's back at left tackle, finally. I asked you guys for a little bit of patience regarding Broderick because being away from there for 2 years, 2 valuable years, that's a lot of important time removed from his early development in his NFL career. You're going to need a little bit more patience, but still, altogether, he's got to clean up a lot of his act. He's got to clean up a lot of his game, mostly the penalties, mostly his technique. But you got Seumalo at left guard. You have Zack Frazier at center, who last year, top 5, I'd even argue top 3 center. I see Zack Frazier being a future consistent Pro Bowl center.
The man had 975 snaps as a rookie, as the center, started every game when he wasn't supposed to. At least I believe he wasn't supposed to, because we had Nate Herbig. He suffered a season-ending injury, which caused Frazier to step in, which I feel like was a blessing in disguise. Nothing against Nate Herbig. I thought he was a fine player and a good backup and a good rotational swing guard, but he's not a natural center.
No.
Frazier was a natural center. You just saw that from his West Virginia days. The guy was a beast. We drafted him in the second round. He stepped in when Herbig got hurt and never looked back.
No,
he had a great rookie season where he only gave up 1 sack, and he was gifted the team's Rookie of the Year.
As he should have been, because, clearly last year, there's only really 2 rookies you could have given it to, which was Zack Frazier or Peyton Wilson. I feel like Zack Frazier was the most deserving because we all know that the trial and error that was the center position since Maurkice Pouncey retired. Now we finally got the most confident, promising center we have had since Pouncey. And the Steelers, their history of centers is full of Hall of Famers. Iron Mike Webster, Damani Dawson, future Hall of Famer. Yes, I did say future Hall of Famer Maurkice Pouncey. And we got a stud in Zack Frazier. That wrestling background comes into play big time. He's so strong. He's such a beast at that position. He can work double teams. He can get up to the second level. He can be that lead guy that could open up so many lanes and get so many blocks. He can swing if he has to.
Yep.
Zack Frazier is such a good find at center. We got him in the second round. It's a shame the center position isn't looked at as the way it should. It's not. Even Creed Humphrey, for God's sake, fell to the second round and Steelers still passed on him. But Creed Humphrey fell to the second round. Zack Frazier fell to the second round. The only center I can think of in the past number of years that have been drafted in the first round, deservedly so, was Linderbaum by the Ravens.
To which the Steelers passed up on him.
Yeah, we passed up on Humphrey and Linderbaum 2 straight years. But although we went through all of that for fucking Kendrick Green, Mason Cole at center, and passed on Linderbaum for Kenny Pickett, swear jar, by the way, we went through all that rough to get to the good of Zack Frazier. And I'm very happy we got Zack Frazier because I do think this guy has the potential to be an elite center. If he isn't already, because he had such a dominant first season.
No, I feel like Frazier was that good. I feel like he was arguably a top 5 center throughout the entire NFL. The guy just held his own. The guy just fit like a glove with that offensive line. I mean, the guy's a natural center. The guy just stepped in and did his job. And he knows the rich tradition when it comes to Steelers and their centers. He knows the tradition, and he knows what he's got to live up to with that position, with the pedigree, wearing the black and gold, wearing that logo, and I have no doubt that he will continue to do so.
He had a 95% pass block win rate in 2024.
That's for a rookie?
For a second-round rookie.
That's insane. That's unbelievable.
Like, I feel like the Steelers finally have their new franchise center, and you knew this from his West Virginia days. The guy is just a tough football player. He's a great character. He's all about the team. He's all about bettering the team and for the success of the team. You know, the center position is obviously very important, and he thrives on that, knowing that he is the main guy, the center of that whole group. It relies a lot on him, and I think he endorses that type of I don't want to say pressure, but that type of importance that his role requires. That's the type of character Zack Frazier is, and that's the type of character we needed back on the offensive line. And Zack Frazier let you know that alone last year. Coming into year 2, I'm very confident this guy's going to continue to thrive, continue to build on himself. He's just a dominant blocker.
Yeah.
Pass blocker, run blocker. You know, he just knows how to attack the defensive line. He knows how to attack in the second level. He's just an incredible blocker, man. He really is. Love Zack Frazier as my center. I can proudly say that is indeed my center. Very happy, very proud to have Zack Frazier in the black and gold, man. You know, I remember last year, right? It was either A.D. Mitchell or Zack Frazier. And I know we needed a receiver last year, and funny enough, we still need a receiver. But I did not want the Steelers to pass on this guy.
Well, dude,
I did not.
We didn't have one. And again, Nate Herbig was not that. We
No.
didn't have a center.
I was so happy they didn't pass on Frazier because I wasn't going through another 2020 situation.
No.
And we don't. We don't. I feel like we have a legitimate franchise core piece for the offensive line, for the offense, for the team in general, and Zack Frazier.
Yeah.
So glad to have that. That is quintessential. And seeing what we went through before we got this guy, you know, we went through a lot, but we got Frazier. And I think...
Can you tell how much we like Zack Frazier?
Yeah, I mean... Holy hell.
Dude, we reacted. You guys know our reactions.
I'd bow down to him, man. I kissed his feet. He was in front of me. I mean, I'm so happy he's my center. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, for real.
That might be the next jersey I'm getting. I don't get Steelers jerseys very often, especially the younger cats, seeing that a lot of them left. But Zack Frazier might be an exception. I'm just saying. Let's move on. Mason McCormick at right guard. Mason McCormick's an interesting story. We got him last year in the 4th round. And I think that's looking like another really good steal, a day 3 steal. I didn't envision him seeing this playing time or this much playing time or this starting gig as early. We viewed him as a future starting piece because the reason why Omar Khan drafted Mason McCormick was because, hey, Nate Herbig's in a rookie or in a contract year. James Daniels was in a contract year. So he's thinking, you know what? If I can't re-sign either of those guys, spoiler alert, he didn't. We got Mason McCormick to be maybe their replacement, their future core piece at that guard position. And here we are in year 2. Mason McCormick is. He got a lot of playing time, over 900 reps last year.
936 to be exact.
And he didn't see playing time up until week 4? Week 3, week 4?
He got his first career start week 4 because if you guys remember, Isaac Sayamalu, he injured his shoulder. He was out the first 4 weeks of the season. And we had Spencer Anderson fill in at left guard initially before Anderson, I believe he got benched for his play, which caused McCormick to step in at left guard, which is where he primarily played in college.
Yeah, at South Dakota State, he played all his reps, did McCormick, at left guard. So when Spencer Anderson, who was getting first-team reps all at training camp while Seumalo was still nursing an injury, when he just wasn't playing up to par, they put in McCormick week 4 at left guard. Unfortunately, that was also the same game, the same week that James Daniels tore his Achilles and he was out for the year. Week 5, they moved Mason McCormick over to James Daniels' spot at right guard, and Seumalo got healthy right back in time to week 5 to play the left guard position for the remainder of the season. Thus, Mason McCormick played the right guard position for the remainder of the year. Something he never played at South Dakota State. Obviously, he participated at that position in certain practices and drills or whatnot at the collegiate level, and the Steelers obviously endorsed that last year in training camp, which allowed him to be ready for that role. And although that's not really his natural spot, I feel like left guard more so is, but I can honestly say that he performed very well at the right guard position. That's the way the Steelers are going to look at him playing that role for this year and maybe down the entire road, even though Seumalo will eventually have to get replaced. Maybe they move McCormick over there long-term later on, but if he's playing well enough for right guard like he did last year and he continues to build on that, why move him? And he played very well at right guard.
No, he for him to play out of position, so to speak, over at right guard, he more than held his own.
Yeah.
I mean, you just look at the guy's build and you look at his size. I mean, he's a very big dude. He's very strong. He's very tenacious when it comes to blocking. I mean, you saw that in his college tape. The Steelers saw that. They selected him in the 4th round. They said, we want this guy a part of our offensive line. We want this guy for the future.
Yes.
He came in when his name was called for left guard and primarily right guard, and he made the most of it. He only had 2 penalties throughout his time over at right guard and only gave up 2 sacks. For a 4th rounder, that ain't half bad.
Yeah.
And playing 936 snaps, that's a lot more than I'm sure Khan and Tomlin envisioned to have McCormick play, but
sometimes
he was ready.
Sometimes, injuries happen and you got to rush these rookies. And I feel like Mason McCormick, the pressure wasn't too much for him. I feel like he had a very good season at right guard. He's a swing guy. He's a mauler. He's a puller at the guard position, which, I feel like we haven't really had at that position really since David DeCastro.
Which is funny enough, he's rocking that number. And
66.
he rocks it very well.
He honors that 66 very well.
As you should. I mean, that number's got a lot of great legacy. We know the guys that rock that number.
Yeah.
At the guard position, position, so to speak.
I view Frazier and McCormick very similar, where they're chippy, they're maulers, they're nasty, they're tough, they're strong, they're big, they're guys they're gonna be hard to get around. Like those are the guys you want leading that charge in the middle of that offensive line, where these guys aren't getting around them. These guys can create lanes. These guys can get linemen on the ground. These guys can get some pancakes. These guys can pull if they have to. That's a great problem to have for the Steelers. And to get those two in the same draft class is very, very promising.
Quite the snag.
And that they're working alongside each other in year 2. They already got some chemistry. They already have a ton, almost 1,000 reps of experience already. I think that's going to be great for year 2 because the Steelers are going to need it with an aging A-Rod. So now in year 2, we'll see what he can bring to the table. But very much like Frazier, I got a lot of confidence that McCormick is going to build on. He just seems like a Steelers guard, and you know what I mean. He just looks, acts, feels like a traditional Steelers lineman.
It's just a good fit.
It is a very good fit. Like, there's no better fit for McCormick, honestly. I mean, look at his build. Look at his look. Look at how he plays. That's an offensive lineman for the Steelers if I've ever seen one.
Yes.
That's a guard if I've ever seen one. So I'm glad McCormick is playing the right guard position for them and working alongside Frazier. I think those two can be a very, very mean duo for that offensive line, something we've been needing for a while.
Yeah.
Right tackle, Troy Fautanu. This is unfortunate because, there's not much to really build off of McCormick. He only played 1 game.
No, it was that Broncos game where him and Broderick Jones were splitting reps at right tackle. He only played 55 snaps, and he looked good when he relieved Broderick of his duties when Broderick had that bad drive and whatnot. But unfortunately, he tweaked his knee, and it took him out the rest of his rookie season.
Yeah, that's also unfortunate because, those were concerns. Maybe that's why he fell coming out of Washington, is he fell to the 20th overall pick because of his knee issues. There was knee concerns coming out of college. And Fautanu said, there's no issue here. I feel fine. I feel great. And then those knee injuries came back to bite him, and he was out essentially his entire rookie season outside of one game.
Yeah. And I do remember leading up to the regular season, I do believe that he was dealing with it was an injury. I can't remember if it was a knee injury or whatnot, but he was dealing with an injury that, took him out for week 1. He didn't play week 1 at all.
That's right.
He made the roster, but he wasn't ready for week 1.
I think it might have been a knee injury. It had to have been a knee injury. It was lingering him up until the start of the season, and when he finally got to play, and something happened in that Broncos game where it took him out for his entire rookie season.
Yeah.
Which sucks because, like Frazier and like McCormick, they have had so much playing time alongside each other, which is a good thing. You look at the tackle positions, and it's quite opposite. Fautanu has only had 55 reps at right tackle for the Steelers.
A man that's only played left tackle back at Washington.
And Broderick Jones has only had one career start at left tackle since being drafted.
Mm-hmm.
The tackle positions, back-to-back picks, Broderick in the first round, 2023, Fautanu in the first round, 2024. Those are ideally your franchise guys. That's what they're trying to replicate, very, very similar to what the Chargers did with Slater and Joe Alt.
Yeah.
First-round guys, first-round pieces are going to hold the edge, right?
Yeah, but these are guys that are back-to-back first-round selections.
And coming off injuries and being out of position,
mm-hmm.
there is a little bit of doubt. There's a little bit of uncertainty there.
There's some concern. It's a big question mark heading into the upcoming season.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I get what the Steelers are doing. I get their vision, and I agree with it. You got to build the trenches, and they have. I mean, look, 4 linemen on the line, they're in rookie contracts. And plus, you got to include depth. Spencer Anderson still in a rookie contract as well.
Right.
Very, very good hand as well at either guard position or even at tackle, right? It's a good depth piece to have. But you look at it where, there is some time removed from these guys in how they've started their career.
And for Fautanu, it's unfortunate because of the injury.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate.
So it's going to be more of a patient game than we anticipated because of the injury to Fautanu, because of Broderick being away from his natural spot for 2 whole seasons.
Yeah.
We're going to have a lot more patience with these guys. I think they can still turn out to be very good first-round picks because I think the talent is there. I think what Broderick can do at left tackle in his natural spot, his big body, and the mobility of him losing weight this year, as long as he can limit the penalties and fix up on a lot of his issues, he could very well showcase that first-round pedigree at his spot.
It's why Omar Khan traded up to get him. It's why he selected him in the first round.
Fautanu, he's never played right tackle outside of being, with the Steelers, obviously. He played all his reps at left tackle at Washington.
But it was very well documented with Fautanu that he was probably the most versatile lineman coming out of his positions class a couple drafts ago.
Right.
Where he was selected. Like, he was most versatile, and he was just so fluid, like you could put him anywhere, and the guy was because he was just that athletic. He was just that good.
Yeah, that's his biggest trait is he's so athletic that moving him over to right tackle was almost seamless because he's so athletic. And of course, Michael Penix, he's left-handed.
Yeah.
So he wasn't really protecting the blind side. At right tackle, most quarterbacks are right-handed.
So for Fautanu, it wouldn't be no stranger to him to have to switch over to the right side, but still protecting the non-blind side position.
Right.
And you see how Fautanu was over at Washington. Just what he did as the left tackle over there. I mean, the guy said himself, leading up to the draft, you got to play offensive line violently. You got to bring that to the offensive line and go, punch somebody in their mouth. That's what he said. That's what he brings to the table. That's just the mindset he brings. And you just look at the film. I mean, the guy is just brutal. The guy is just a tenacious dude. Like, he just knocks a guy down, There's a play out there where he loses his helmet and he still doesn't stop blocking.
Right.
He still goes out there and gives it his all, even when his helmet is off.
Yeah, the guy puts 110 full effort into every snap. That's one thing you notice about Fautanu. And another good thing about him being right tackle is that, unlike Broderick Jones, they didn't move Fautanu around all last season. In minicamp and training camp and preseason and whatnot, they kept him solely based at right tackle. They didn't move him to left. They didn't experiment him like they did with Broderick.
No.
They kept him at right tackle, which is where he saw all of his reps, all of his action in his rookie season, limited because of the injury, but all of that. And like we mentioned, his athleticism, the experience from practice and the drills that he ran, he always said that the Washington coaching staff always kept his linemen, that entire group, ready in case anything happened. So the right tackle move is a little more seamless than it would be for like a Broderick. He's a little more natural. He's a lot more athletic. He's a little more ready. So yes, there is some doubt that because he is a little limited there and he was injured, there is going to be a little doubt and a little bit more of a patience situation for a lot of us Steelers fans. But I think if he stays healthy, he'll still be a very quality, very good, strong starter, man. I think he will be because I think he has the tools. I'm not worried about his height or his arm length that was being concerned about during his draft process. I think Fautanu still got a lot of the tools as long as he stays healthy.
I mean, before the injury concerns, this was a man that was projected top 10.
Yeah.
He fell down to the 20th overall pick to the Steelers. Steelers saw that, Khan saw that. He's like, nope, this guy's coming to us because we have a plan in mind. And I believe in that plan, and I'm all on deck for that plan. Just with the tackles, it's going to take a little bit of patience with Broderick. Finally over at his natural spot, Fautanu coming off a season-ending injury. But with Fautanu, I'm excited to see how he can bounce back, how he can grow, how he is coming off an injury like that.
Yeah.
Just where his headspace is, just what he's going to bring, and just see if that level of tenacity and his blocking capabilities as a pass blocker and even as a run blocker, if what he did at Washington is going to translate over to the Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very important season for Fautanu because if he, knock on wood, if he gets hurt again, if he can't stay healthy, there is going to be a lot of doubt from a lot of Steelers fans.
I mean, I've even seen some people already call him injury prone. I wouldn't say that.
It's 1 year.
He never.
Calvin Austin.
I don't recall him having serious injury concerns out of Washington.
No. It
was just that build up to the draft. That was it.
Is Calvin Austin injury prone because he got hurt all his rookie season? No, he's not. He's played 2 years of NFL action.
No, so it's too quick to label Fautanu injury prone. I'm
Wilson.
not doing that.
Let's see if he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
Is he going to be injury prone? Well, if he's like Calvin Austin, where he's not going to get hurt for the next couple of seasons, he's not injury prone. It's just a freak injury in their rookie season. Unfortunately, this Joe has been bit by it for more often than we think. Calvin, Roman, and now Fautanu.
Yeah, especially that O-line last year. Like, it was just injuries left and right.
Sometimes you just can't avoid it. Things happen.
No, like, Sayamalu got hurt. James Daniels got hurt. Oh, Zack Frazier. As a matter of fact, Zack Frazier did get hurt because our backup center had to step in a little bit.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, Zack Frazier did miss 2-3 weeks of action?
Yeah, that's right. And, of course, Fautanu, like, the injury bug hurt the offensive line a lot. Like, we were pretty bare with some depth.
Right.
Thankfully, the rookies stepped up. Frazier and McCormick, they stepped up. They balled out. And now they're part of the future program for the offensive line. I can just hope to God and pray and keep my fingers crossed that the offensive line does stay healthy.
Yes.
Because if they can stay healthy, and if this unit with the 4 young studs and even the veteran at Sayamalu, this O-line, it's a crucial year for them because the offensive line is what's really going to have to help out the offense. Because, again, the offense hasn't been great for many years. And a poor offensive line has been quintessential because of that. It's been a huge problem with the guys that we have. Now that the bad eggs are out of there, at least I hope so, the bad eggs are out there, and we got these young studs and a veteran in there at their respective positions.
Right.
Hopefully they can stay healthy. They can gel well. Hopefully Pat Meyer can get something going. I'm not really still the biggest fan of him, but he is still the offensive line coach. Maybe he can get something together going now that he's got a group of guys that is just the plan. That's the group to go with down the road.
I mean, that's ideally the future. I mean, like I said several times this offseason, that's the biggest thing I'm looking forward to this season is these last 3 draft classes. What are they going to bring to the table? They're ideally the future, especially this offensive line. One of the things Omar Khan and Andy Wild have prioritized ever since being together was the trenches. Well, we're going to see 4 of these guys on the line. 4 of these guys on rookie contracts, plus Spencer Anderson also still being a rookie contract. Yeah. That's another guy. Can't forget the defensive line and all those guys they brought in that are on rookie contracts.
Most importantly, the offensive line, they got to stand out.
Yes.
They got to show out. They got to ball out.
Yes, they do, man. That's it's definitely the biggest thing regarding the Steelers this season is if the offensive line doesn't pan out, then I don't know, guys. I don't know. We might just have to deal with the same offense all over again. So the offensive line is going to be quintessential. I mean, that could be said for any NFL team, but especially for the Steelers, seeing that they have so many guys on their rookie contracts. They have so much early pedigree added to that line. A lot of these guys are really going to have to step up. Broderick especially. Frazier, McCormick, I do trust.
Yeah.
Fautanu is still a little uncertain, but I feel like, what we stated a lot in this video, I think his move, if he stays healthy, is going to be a little more seamless. So, overall, this offensive line, along with Isaac Sayamalu, of course, at left guard, being the vet, the leader, the glue, I suppose, it's still a massive question mark. It's still a big what if. But I do like the pedigree. I like what we've seen from some of these guys, and seeing that some of them have showcased a lot of potential. We'll see what this offensive line can do. I'm really hoping for the best, obviously.
Yeah, and I'm not asking for a Goon Squad 2.0 because you're never going to get the days of the Goon Squad.
Well, not this
that
year.
level of talent and not that level of coaching at that.
No.
And not this year.
Not this year, but down the road, based off what the Steelers have spent to get these guys, hopefully they live up to that. But I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, this year, don't expect like a 2016 Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line that was unbelievable. A 2017 Steelers offensive line, which was unbelievable.
All I ask is for better performance, better coaching, and just a good offensive line at that.
I'm hoping for some serious growth from a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
Mostly the tackle position, because that's most important. I think a lot of us feel safe in saying that Frazier and McCormick will deliver. The tackle position is the biggest question mark. That's for sure. A lot of doubt, a lot of uncertainty, but, they really got to pan out. The first round picks back to back, everything we've discussed about Broderick being away and Fautanu being hurt and them being on opposite sides for however long. The tackle position is probably the most worrisome regarding the entire O-line, but perhaps things can fall into place. How long that's going to take, when that's going to happen, hopefully sooner rather than later, because God knows the Steelers need it. A-Rod especially is going to need it. With how the Steelers want to run the offense, they're going to need it. So this offensive line, it's going to be interesting to see what they can bring to the table and what their growth is going to be all along all 5 spots. But in regards to the young cats, the 4 spots. So we'll see what happens, man. Let us know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. How do you guys feel about the line? Who's your biggest what if regarding the line? Who do you have the most faith in on the offensive line? Let us know your guys' thoughts and comments down in the chat in the comments below. Appreciate y'all for watching. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Follow us on the socials. They are down in the overlay below. And we'll see you in the next one as training camp is advancing, ladies and gentlemen. Steelers football is almost back. Here we go, Steelers.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace!